The WebMap item object with the ArcGIS API for Python has a bit of extra power behind it, and we saw this when we used the item object getData method. This returned a dictionary, which was the JSON definition of our web map. Now, not every item object returns this dictionary, but the web map item certainly does, and it is very powerful as it defines the web map definition. Let's take a further look. Open up the web map item data properties.py script from the web map item folder.
In this lesson, we will not be using the map object, so no need to import it up top. But we do require our GIS class import, and we're also going to make use of the JSON module from the standard Python library to print out a dictionary in a neater fashion. First, access ArcGIS Online. We then use the content manager get method and supply in our web map item ID, which I'll copy now from my notepad and paste in. You can also grab from ArcGIS Online. The get method returns an item object. This will be our web map item, and we'll assign that to a variable called web map item. We're going to use the item object getData method to return the web map definition. Here we've created a variable called web map item data. I'm going to set this to equal our web map item object, and we want to call upon the getData method for an item object. We're then going to simply print our web map item data to screen. So that is a dictionary that is returned from the getData method on our web map item. So let's run the script. And we can see we are returned a dictionary. It is quite difficult to read, so we won't go through it right now. We'll print it out using the JSON module so we can read it easier. I'll comment out our first example, and in our second example we are going to use that JSON module from the standard Python library to print in a more readable fashion. So once more, we are calling our getData method on our item object and assign that to a variable called web map item data. We're then using JSON.dumps and supplying in our web map item data dictionary and an indent of 4. So let's run this and see how it prints out neater. Okay, this looks a good bit neater. We have our dictionary and we have our authoring app property, and our web map item was created using the ArcGIS Python API. This is what the last update was performed through, and we'll see a couple of other entries that you could see here in a moment. We have the authoring app version. I'm currently using 2.4.0 of the ArcGIS API for Python. Previously we have seen our basemap property. This contains two properties itself, the basemap layers and the title. Basemap layers contains a list that defines the basemap in our web map. We have bookmarks, which is an empty list as we have no bookmarks as of yet, but we will later on in the course. Our initial state is the initial extent of our web map when we open it in the map viewer. Our operational layers are our layers in our web map. Currently we have none, so we have an empty list. We also have a reference scale property along with spatial reference and version. So what do these properties mean, and are there any more properties available? You might notice that tables is missing. Tables, like operational layers, is a list that contains the tables in the web map. If I scroll back up to the top of the script, we have this link here to the web map specification. Now this is the JavaScript specification, but a lot of it holds up for when we are using Python API to update the JSON definition. I'll head over to this link. So here we have the web map specification. We can see here that the web map data lists the base map, operation layers and bookmarks to be used in the web map, but it also contains other information. When we scroll down, we can see our authoring app. This is a string value indicating the application that last authored the web map. We have the authoring app version. We saw that mine was 2.4.0 for the ArcGIS API for Python. We've seen our basemap property If I click in, we know that has two properties, basemap layers and title, and I can further click into the basemap layers for more information. We have our bookmarks, our initial state, which is the initial state to which to open the map. We have our operational layers, which is a list containing dictionaries that describe each layer in the web map. If I click into operational layers, you can see the type of layers that you can utilize and find out more information about those. If I click into your average feature layer, you can see more information that would display in the JSON definition if we had layers in our web map. And we are going to revisit the web map definition after we have added layers and tables to our map. We'll head back to the root of our web map properties. We have the reference scale, you can read information about that. Spatial reference, tables we did not see but can be used, and other properties such as time zone, version and widgets. As we update our web map using the map object properties methods, more of these properties will appear in our web map definition. And we will see this when we add tables to our web map. The tables property will be added. Before finishing up this lesson, let's head back over to PyScripter for a moment. I just want to show you for our authoring app, although I have here how the web map was created, it is the last authoring of the web map. So you can see here we have ArcGIS Python API. The web map was created using the ArcGIS API for Python. The web map viewer. The web map was created using the classic map viewer, and the ArcGIS map viewer indicates the web map was created using the new map viewer in ArcGIS Online. In this video, we took a look at the web map definition returned from the getData method available for an item object, most specifically for our web map item object. The getData method returns a dictionary defining our web map. As we have seen already in this course, and as we will see throughout the course, we can manipulate this JSON definition directly to perform automated tasks on our web map.